What's up, Lucky Gamers? It's Lucky Lux. It's time for a Spathodea guide. So I've been using Spathodea ever since she launched, and she's been a crazy single target beast DPS. So I'm going to be giving you guys all the information you need to know on her kit, her Psychube, talking about her resonance, portraits, everything like that, and then her future usage in CN as well, and characters that will be added to her team. So let's go ahead and get into it. Alright guys, so this is my Spathodea over in CN, which I'm going to be doing some showcases with her, but I'm letting you guys look at a pretty much fully built one. Of course, I do have some portraits, but this is what her stats are looking like when we put her into the attack resonance build. She has 22% crit and has 151 crit damage, right? Which her kit can boost that crit rate and crit damage on its own. She has 1974 attack, and this is the fully maxed out Psychube. Everything is resonance 10, right? So I do have actually another resonance build that is going to be for straight up crit. This helps out if you're having a little inconsistencies with the crit. It lowers her attack a little bit, but gives her a lot more crit rate. If you put portraits in, you don't really have to run this build, but every now and then there can be high crit resist on the enemies, and you'll want to run this, especially if you're running Long Night Talk, which is giving you that big attack boost, right? But let's go ahead and get into her skills, which I'm going to use Pridwin to help me out with the translations, right? So her ultimate is going to be a single target attack that does 700% reality damage. This attack will get an increase of 40% extra crit damage. If you have 15 or more stacks of burn, the crit damage will increase by an additional 40%. So you want to get the burn stacks as high as you can on this ult. It's really hard to get 15 stacks, honestly, right now in global. It is possible, but it's really difficult, and I will show you guys the best ways of doing that with our team members. Little Boxer is going to be a single target attack that goes from 200% reality on level 1 all the way up to 500% on the level 3. When you're in your buff status pre-ignition, you will get an extra 40% extra crit damage on this. So you want to make sure that you buff up and then attack with this, right? Ignition point is going to be her buff. Her buff is going to give her 3 different buffs on it. First one's going to be pre-ignition, which is what's going to apply the burn. The exhilaration is what's going to be her crit rate, 15% crit rate per stack. And then you're going to get preparation, which is an extra little boxer card. And depending on the level of the skill from the buff is the level of the extra card that you get, right? So all the way up to level 3, you'll get 9 stacks of burn that you apply whenever you attack. You'll have 5 stacks of exhilaration, which is 75% crit rate. And then you'll have a level 3 little boxer card on the next turn, right? So her insights: when you apply burn status with an attack, the next attack gains crit rate plus 25%. So you want to attack basically and apply burn to the enemy. You get the extra crit rate on your next attack. So Spathodea is all about really preparing and setting up and then doing a bunch of damage. She's not a character that wants to attack every turn because you want to make sure that you maximize using that buff. When a single target attack scores a crit, inflict 4 stacks of burn. So she can apply burn on her own, just not a whole lot unless you're using high stacks of her buff, but she can apply it, right? And just one extra add effect for burn, because burn is new into global. It does, it is a negative status, but it's just one negative status, and it also lowers healing. But the burn itself, I will explain when we get into battle. 50% of the stacks are removed per turn, so it's not like poison. So if you apply 15 stacks, then it's going to go down to 8 stacks, basically. So you have to be mindful of that. On her portraits, I'll honestly say portrait 1 is going to be a decent increase for your incantation, especially since her Psychube has incantation might. This will allow you to have 30% extra crit damage on your first skill, and then P2 will help out the consistency of crit because your Flame Flower on your Insight 1 is going to get an extra 25% crit rate, and this will help her out because her whole kit is focused around critting, right? P3, which is what I have, increases the crit damage of the ult, which allows you to unleash ridiculously strong ults, especially when buffed. P4 is going to increase the base damage of the incantation. And then P5, the big one, is going to give you 50% extra reality damage on your ult. And up to 200, you're going to get 200% crit damage if you get the 15 stacks on your ult, which is crazy, right? And they have the Psychubes right here. Long Night Talk is going to be hers. Long Night Talk, what it's going to do is give you a damage dealt when attacking, right? With 2 or more positive status. And then if you have this at base, it's going to give you 2% extra attack when you use a buff incantation, and it stacks up to 2 times. So that's 4%. If you get this on all the way up to amp 5, you're going to be able to get 12.5% attack, right? And this is a really good Psychube also. It gives incantation might for her and has a not the craziest attack on it, but it helps out with Spathodea, especially when switching around your resonance builds, right? But let's go ahead and show her teams and how she's used. All right, guys, so let's talk about Spathodea and her teams that she's going to be running for you guys. So obviously right off the bat, while you're pulling for her, Ulu's just going to be a great and easy pairing to help out with the burn and be a damage dealt buffer. Yes, Ulu probably isn't better than, like, you know, Pickles or Anan Lee or Necrologist, but Ulu can help with the burn and can apply it every turn. So Ulu helps me out a great deal. There are obviously better options, but when it comes to burn, a lot of people are wanting to know about this, so I'm gonna throw Ulu here. Now, the next character that you can go with depends on how you're wanting to perceive the Spathodea, right? So if you're wanting to obviously get more damage out, then you have Bjorn Bloom, who's gonna lower the reality defense and help out the damage dealt, right? And then she has her single target ult. If you're wanting to go for a little bit more safety and then also have that empower incantation, you can go with 6, right? 6 with the empower incantation can help out Spathodea in getting her incantations higher, which she will benefit by having her buff higher, because that'll give her more crit stacks. She'll get more burn stacks that she can apply with it, and she'll have a better little boxer whenever she uses that buff, and then her little boxer card will get upgraded as well, right? So you can actually stack up quite a bit of cards, because Spathodea is the type whom I like to attack every other turn, so that empower incantation does help out a lot, right? But for some of you, you could probably, like, depending on how you play, you could probably just run Bjorn Bloom, since your Bjorn Bloom is really strong, and do that as well, right? But if you want to go a no healer route, 6 is there also. And if you just want to drop Ulu, you could drop Ulu also and just forgo the burn. And that's probably what most of you will do. Now that I think about it, it's probably what most of y'all will do. You'll forgo the burn and go like this, right? And then for your healer, you'll most likely want to go with Tooth Fairy, because you're like, well, I want that to help just guarantee that crit consistency. The only problem is like, especially in the raid that Spathodea is in, Tooth Fairy's going to get pretty much killed. So the next Specs healer is going to be, of course, Desert Flannel whenever she comes out, or using Med Pocket. Med Pocket's going to be a great option for you. And then you have other options being DK, or you can just use no, actually that's pretty much it. I forget, I have to remember global stuff. So yeah, so I would say Med Pocket would be my favorite, because Tooth Fairy with her 15% crit defense is nice. You just have to make sure that you line up the baby tooth debuff with your buffing and everything that you're doing for Spathodea, because you do have to do some setup. So it can be weird with the debuff and doing that. But we'll go ahead and put Tooth Fairy, because I know some of you are just going to force her into all content, because you're going to tell me, well, mine is level 60 and blah, 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 and she's high leveled, right? So this is a little team that you can run. Now, you're not really going to get any burn stacks out of this, so do be mindful of that. And you don't have any damage dealt buffs with this team, so this is why I don't really care for this team, right? But I know a lot of you are going to run it, but I'm going to put on my Ulu when we do this showcase. Show this. And I know I spent a lot of time in this team setup, but I just wanted you guys to really see the synergy between all the characters. And you know what? Just for you guys, I'm going to get some energy and show you guys off. Now, I am weak Afflatus wise in this team, so it's gonna be a little weird. But as you can see, Ulu is applying the burn to everybody. So when it comes to battling with Spathodea, you can apply, like, you know, of course, your debuffs to help out and apply more burn. And then we're gonna go ahead and buff up and then attack. Now mine is gonna have higher damage, obviously, so it's gonna be a little high for the damage we're putting out, but you can see pretty much the kit. All right, so we got that crit. All right, so we're just gonna keep using. So I do want to attack with Spathodea, so I'm gonna go ahead and refresh. It does not refresh the extra card, and so we got a buff here, right? And so I'm gonna use these cards to go ahead and get the merge. That way we can get to our ult quicker, right? So we're gonna buff up. We're getting that extra crit damage on our little boxer. Go ahead and debuff the enemy. Remove this sturdiness stack. The burn from Ulu. And then you see that damage is going up. Now we have our ultimate. All right, so now we're wanting to see if we can get the 15 stacks on the enemy. The enemy has 10. We need to get 5 stacks, right, to get up to the 15 stacks. So there are a couple of strategies that you can use to actually get that 15 stacks, right? So we need to use this little boxer ability, and it needs to crit. So depending on how you have your Spathodea built, you can just go ahead and use this ability, right? And that's gonna give you 4 stacks if you can crit, right? Now, using Ulu, actually we'll do this in reverse. We use Ulu to give us 1 extra stack at least. Use this, and then we're gonna buff up to help us guarantee crit on the ult, because the ult is gonna be our biggest part. There's been a lot of times where I've missed the crit on the ult because I tried to buff up and then do an attack to guarantee the crit to get the 4 stacks, but I'd rather guarantee the ult to have those stacks, right? So let's see how this plays out. Hopefully we don't kill the boss. All right, so we have that 1 stack. We crit on the ability. We have 15 stacks. Now we're about to get full power ult. All right, so you guys will be able to see that. So we did 43K. Trust me, I know the count. Like we said, 43K. And that's pretty much the rotation, like, and everything you're doing with Spathodea. Just trying to get the ult, trying to get the 15 stacks, and you're pretty much done from there. All right, and now let's talk about Spathodea and what she's looking like in the future. So I'm gonna be honest, being the fact that in the raid, the robot raid is what we just call it, she's pretty much the top character in that. Unfortunately, Melania cannot compete in it because she's mental damage. So there are characters that could literally be better than her. Even Sweetheart can do more damage than Melania in it just because of that double S. And so Spathodea is still the top beast character in the game and does a crazy amount of damage. She's really the only character who's able to get up there single target wise with Joe, right? Characters that have come out and helped benefit her. Of course, if you want to go a no healer route, you can run Ezra and do the crit damage with the 40% crit damage that you get. Getien is going to be on the team with Spathodea because that just gives her a big buff, honestly, giving her the 15% extra reality defense and then the 40% extra damage dealt. Getien is a huge help to Spathodea's damage. And then you also have Isolde, the queen of the burn right now. Isolde is going to give Spathodea a crazy damage with the rousing morale, another defense lowering buff, and then the extra crit defense that she can lower to give more crit damage. And the amount of burn that she can apply to an enemy quickly, giving Spathodea an easy chance of getting 15 stacks on the ult. So it's going to be the best. And then the healer for Spathodea's team can actually be Vila, because Vila is wanting to be with the hyper carry and the crit rate and crit damage. Like, while yes, it'll probably just keep overstacking Spathodea, it's going to be a lot more beneficial to Spathodea than trying to line up the Tooth Fairy, because you can line that up with the hyper carry team. I've been talking about this. It's gonna be an easy one. But then also, if you don't get Vila or you're waiting until Vila, you still have Medicine Pocket, who can help out as well, right? Who's gonna be very similar, like in a sense that, like, you know, you're using AP cards to buff up damage. It's just that Vila's buff lasts for 2 turns, so you can use it before you attack with Spathodea, because you're attacking pretty much every other turn with Spath, right? So these are gonna be the characters that have come out that have been the biggest help to Spathodea, and sadly Ulu just falls off. So try not to pull for P5 Ulu. I did it and I regret it. Like, I did it and I love being able to showcase it, and I, you know, did some showcase of P5 Ulu, but like, it's just, I don't want you guys doing it, right? This is why we make the mistakes in CN, so we can help you guys out. Now, in the comment section, please let me know what you guys think about Spathodea if you're going for her. If you're not going for her, then you don't really have to comment, right? Also, sub to the channel if you guys want to get more information. I know that I've been pushing out other games and stuff like that. Don't worry, I still play R99. It's just that you have to be real. R99 has down periods, and so, like, I'm just playing other games, doing other things to help my channel grow, because this channel is what I use to provide for my kids, right? You guys see my kids on the stream, so, like, don't think that I'm, like, just done with R99 and stuff like that. I play other games, okay? I do stuff. All right, like the video to help me out, and always remember I have a Discord where we can discuss stuff, because there's tons of people in Discord still playing R99. But anyways, I'm Lucky Lux. You lucky gamers, have a good one. Lucky Lux out.